當時機艙嘅情況。
各位旅客請趴低 ，Please bend down to avoid the smoke。
復活節假，一班教育學院嘅學生去北京交流。星期日下晝1點幾，搭呢一班港龍 KA991客機返香港，飛咗大概1個鐘，先聽到一聲巨響，之後機艙入邊佈滿白煙，
好強嘅燶味。咁之後越嚟越勁啦，啲煙又係咁湧晒入嚟，已經開始知道唔係燒著嘢咁簡單咯。
隔咗15分鐘，氧氣罩彈出嚟。
各位旅客請戴好你哋嘅氧氣面罩。請首先將氧氣面罩拉下，用力拉向自己嘅面。
有細路仔喊聲，但係大部分乘客都能夠保持鎮定。機長之後宣布左邊嘅引擎故障，
係第2個引擎仍然運作㗎。而我哋現在正開始折返北京到國際機場，大概需要15分鐘嘅時間。而當航班抵達北京之前，抵達北京之後，我哋會做個詳細嘅飛行廣播。
雖然佢哋個樣係強裝好鎮定，但我都係見到我驚嘅。嗰時我都心諗，可能我就咁樣一命嗚呼。
話一對夫婦呢，一知道有煙就攬住對面，咁就食咗啖之後就話：我哋來生再做夫妻啦咁樣咯。
飛機折返途中，見到出事嘅左邊機翼並無異樣。
我哋成功降落啦！
停機坪已經有消防員同埋公安戒備。落機之後，見到左邊嘅引擎有明顯嘅損毀同埋燻黑咗。港龍向乘客致歉，安排佢哋搭其他航班返香港。有線電視記者譚慧媛報導。
北京奧運嘅聖火接力傳送展開，國家主席胡錦濤朝早喺天安門廣場點起奧運火炬。
境內第一位火炬手就係劉翔。聖火之後會傳遍5大洲，再返中國。有陳月慧喺北京報導。
國家主席胡錦濤喺北京奧組委主席劉奇手上接過火炬。點着天安門廣場上嘅火盆。
我宣布，北京2008年奧運會火炬接力開始。
奧運800米欄冠軍劉翔成為境內第一位火炬手。佢高舉長雲火炬，啟動聖火傳遞。劉翔跨越天安門前嘅金水橋。奧運聖火喺4月1號開始就會傳遍5大洲19個城市，以及香港同澳門。出發首站就係哈薩克斯坦嘅阿拉木圖。有線電視記者陳月慧北京報導。
至於聖火運抵北京嘅情況就交由許秋霞報導。
奧運聖火號朝早8點55分，帶住喺希臘點着嘅聖火喺北京降落。北京奧組委主席劉奇拎住仿照宮燈設計嘅火種燈步出機艙。大約100個學生喺跑道不斷揮舞國旗。中央政治局常委周永康同劉奇舉起聖火。3個聖火護送人員將火種燈送上專車，由警察開路，直駛。
Diana and his son Dodi were engaged. He claimed Prince Philip was linked to a plot to kill Diana and Dodi so as to stop the princess from marrying a Muslim. But starting his summary of the inquest, Lord Justice Scott Baker said many of Al-Fayad's theories were demonstrably without foundation. A small plane has crashed into a residential area southwest of London, killing all 5 on board. The private plane smashed into the garage of a house in Farnsborough, badly damaging the roof and upper story of a home next door. Firefighters confirmed no people in the houses were involved and there were no survivors on board the plane. The plane, a Cessna Citation jet, popular with business travelers, reportedly took off from nearby Biggin Hill Airport. It's believed the aircraft was headed to France when pilots called in an emergency and wanted to return, but crashed before making it back.
Fighters of radical Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr have pulled off the streets of the Iraqi capital and Basra, where they fought fierce battles with security forces. Yesterday, al-Sadr ordered his fighters to withdraw from the streets in a move signaling the end of clashes that erupted in Basra in the south and quickly spread to Shiite areas across Iraq. Most shops are open, but offices, Basra colleges and schools remain closed. Authorities lifted the curfew in Baghdad except for the districts of Sadr City, Kadamiyya and Shuala, where tensions remain high. The firefights broke out last week in Basra and other Shiite areas of Iraq after Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki, himself a Shiite, ordered a crackdown on Shiite militiamen in the port city. More than 320 people were killed in the clashes and hundreds more wounded before Sadr ordered his fighters to pull off the streets.
The Cambodian-born journalist who became the subject of the award-winning film The Killing Fields has died. Dith Pran was 65. Dith Pran's tale was one of enslavement and eventual escape from Khmer Rouge revolutionaries in 1979. It was Dith himself who coined the term killing fields for the horrifying clusters of corpses and skeletal remains of victims he encountered on his journey to freedom. He died at a New Jersey hospital of pancreatic cancer, according to Sidney Schanberg, his former colleague at the New York Times. Dith had been diagnosed almost 3 months ago.
And still ahead of the news. Reassurances of plentiful supply of rice in Hong Kong. An ambitious plan to preserve 48 pre-war shop houses. And ladybirds to help in pest control at Hong Kong Disneyland.
From this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in distress or in bliss, to love and to hold, till death do you part. Extra Professional Mints presents Corpse Bride, Sunday, April 13th on Pearl.
Somebody's working this thing from the inside, man. Someone on the inside, though, for sure. He's been working this whole thing from the inside.
And that I have always loved you. I really need to find her.
She's dead.
Kidnapped. Just 2 episodes left. Tuesday night at 9:35 on Pearl.
Dream of Pink, the new limited edition from Lacoste.
Exceptional experiences every time. Intercontinental Shenzhen.
Victoria Beckham. Is she simply too posh for her own good? Famous designer Vera Wang dresses Wilhelmina an unlikely bride-to-be. All this and more in the latest issue of Ugly Betty.
Welcome back. Premier Wen Jiabao warned today that the increasing price of rice may add to inflationary pressure on the mainland. But both the Premier and the government here in Hong Kong gave reassurances that rice supply for the territory is plentiful.
The price of rice shot up by 30% around the world in recent days. The Hong Kong government said this is due to poor harvest in some rice-producing countries, plus changes in currency exchange rates.
In terms of rice supply, there is no problem whatsoever. So please be assured that there need not be any panic that there might be short supply of rice. In fact, in the law, there is also requirement for the rice suppliers to ensure that there would be a supply of at least 15 days of rice in Hong Kong.
Speaking during a visit to Laos, Premier Wen Jiabao admitted that the rising cost of the grain might add to inflationary pressure on the mainland.
But he added that China's rice reserve stands at 50 million tons, and he promised to ensure plentiful supply to Hong Kong and Macau. In Hong Kong, though, most of the rice consumed comes from Thailand or Australia and not the mainland. Ng Tak Lang, the manager of a restaurant, says Thai rice is polished and tends to have a finer texture than rice from the mainland. Switching to Chinese rice may be cheaper, but local consumers might find its relatively inferior quality hard to swallow.
An ambitious plan was announced today by the Urban Renewal Authority to preserve some 48 pre-war shop houses. The URA hopes to protect and restore a majority of these buildings by acquiring them at market value or working with current owners for long-term tenancy agreements. Jainan reports.
Shop houses with verandas, a unique architectural feature of South China. Some of these buildings can still be found on Shanghai Street in Yaomate, but some of these pre-war tenement buildings are in desperate need of repairs. Currently, authorities have found 36 shop houses in Hong Kong to be of outstanding heritage value, and the Urban Renewal Authority will begin an ambitious project to acquire them at market value and restore them to their former glory.
The maintenance cost of some of these buildings will be substantial in the future. But we are quite confident that if we put these buildings to use in a creative way and an effective and productive way, we will be able to generate enough revenues to support the ongoing repair and maintenance of these buildings.
He says if owners refuse to sell, the URA will try to convince them to sign a long tenancy agreement allowing for future subletting. The URA will also approach owners from 12 other shop houses with lesser historical values with offers to fund building renovations. This pawn shop in Wan Chai is the latest example of a successful restoration. Mixing the old with the new, a $15 million makeover has given this building a whole new life. From century-old pawn shop into a modern restaurant, and shop houses under the project will likely be put into commercial use if they are successfully acquired. The URA hopes to complete a final working plan before the end of the year. Jainan, TVB News.
Since September, would-be civil servants have to take an examination to test their knowledge on the Basic Law. Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs Stephen Lam today revealed that 10% of an applicant's assessment is weighted towards a person's Basic Law test results. Applicants also have to take an aptitude test and undergo Chinese and English language tests. Around 100 sample questions are available on the government's website to prepare applicants for the Basic Law exam. A man in Guangzhou who was sentenced to life imprisonment for pocketing more than 170,000 yuan as a result of an automatic teller machine fault today had his jail term reduced to 5 years. A local legal expert says the outcome showed the intense public pressure the court had come under. Xu Ting had already served 10 months behind bars, having been found guilty of theft. In a retrial today, a judge at Guangzhou's People's Intermediate Court said there was sufficient evidence to prove him guilty. But given that he committed the crime after he discovered a fault with the bank's automatic teller machine that he did not plot to steal, nor did his offence cause any damage, Xu Ting's was deemed not to have an ill intent. His life sentence was reduced to 5 years. He was also ordered to pay a 20,000 yuan fine on top of returning the 171,000 yuan he pocketed. Unhappy with the outcome, Xu's father plans to appeal. 2 years ago, Xu Ting wanted to withdraw 100 of the 171 yuan he had from an automatic teller machine in Guangzhou. He pressed an extra zero by mistake, and to his surprise, 1,000 yuan came out, yet only 1 yuan was deducted from his account. He subsequently withdrew 171,000 yuan in this way, that is 1,000 yuan for every one he actually had. He was on the run for a year before being arrested in Shanxi province. Ong Yu Kim, an expert on mainland laws, says 5 years in jail is still pretty heavy for theft, especially when the defendant did not intend to commit the crime in the first place. He added that the outcome of the retrial showed the intense public pressure the court had come under.